2 days after issuing a press conference raising concerns over the spate of abductions in the country, specifically that of his son Leslie Muruti in June last year, Public Service CS Justin Muturi today presented his statement on the abduction of his son. His statement throwing a spanner into the works. Noordin Haji, the man at the helm of Kenya's intelligence unit, has been thrown into a den of lions waiting to pounce, following revelations by Public Service CS Justin Muturi, implicating him over the abduction of his son Leslie Muruti. In a statement presented by Muturi today at the DCI unit at Kilimani police station, Muturi opined that his son was only released after the NIS boss was instructed to do so by the head of state. He says, and I quote, "Standing at the pavilion, I heard the president ask Noordin Haji if he was holding my son. Noordin confirmed that indeed he was holding my son and the president instructed him to release Leslie immediately. Noordin responded that Leslie would be released within an hour. However, Muturi says he was forced to drive to State House after his text message was neither read or responded to by President William Ruto. In his statement, Muturi says, and I quote, "At around 3 a.m. I decided to send a WhatsApp message to the president, informing him about my son's abduction." He further goes ahead to say, "We continued with our inquiries and I checked my phone to see if the president had read my message. He had not. Shortly after, I saw the presidential helicopters heading to State House. I decided to drive to State House to see him in person." In the statement, Muturi also narrates how he tried to reach the NIS boss, but his efforts proved futile. Being frustrated over the abduction of his son, Muturi says he made several calls, at one point opting to reach out to the then Interior CS. He says, and I quote, "Just before 1 p.m., I decided to call Professor Kindiki, the Cabinet Secretary for Interior. After explaining the entire situation, he expressed shock and assured me he would contact Noordin Haji. 15 minutes later, Professor Kindiki called back saying the NIS boss denied holding Leslie. Professor Kindiki maintained that the DG could not be lying. The question is, why was the NIS boss not picking Muturi's calls, if at all his account of the story is anything to go by? However, being a connected and a top government official, Muturi got wind of who was holding his son. In the statement, he says, and I quote, "A friend from NIS called, informing me that my son was being held by their people. I shared this information with my friends, and it was agreed that I should call Noordin Haji again. Despite multiple attempts, he did not answer." Muturi's sentiments implicating the NIS boss comes at a time when questions continue to be asked regarding who has been abducting Kenyan youth since the Gen Z June-July wave of demonstrations, with President William Ruto's allies calling for his resignation, failure to which he will be impeached. Muturi has dared them to bring on the impeachment.
I would just say bring it on. At my age, I'm not the kind of person to respond to some of it is really very perfunctory statement made by fairly inexperienced politicians. I think they are not worthy my response. So if anybody thinks that I don't know what I'm doing, then they are up for a rude shock.
Whether it is a case of fighting the government from within or not, CS Justin Muturi appears to be a man on a mission, calling bluff on those calling for his resignation. Question is there trouble in paradise? And will this further deepen President William Ruto's woes in the vast Mount Kenya region? Ian Keitani, K24 TV, Nairobi.